Let's get the ball rolling. First and foremost, I'm going to quickly go across to Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. Lieutenant General, take the viewers through what's going on inside your mind when you're looking at headlines that read the third biggest attack on security forces, the biggest attack on security forces in the last 3 years, Jammu and Kashmir, the south of Pir Panjal. All of that must be racing past your head, but help the viewers with the first thing that's going on in your mind right now.
Kabir, extremely sad, because I can't imagine such an incident happening, because it definitely is something, you feel very, very sad after all the young officers who, in the line of the duty, have lost their lives. My heart goes out to their families. But, it's one of those things. These officers are trained to lead from the front. But just having said that, let me tell you, these south of Kashmir and north of Kashmir, if you say divide the area. The north of Kashmir is, of course, what we call the LOC, which is heavily guarded, and the infiltration chances are as dim. But these days, the infiltration is also coming through Punjab, is coming through, the areas even from Nepal, and then you can have people infiltrating. But besides, of course, the weapons can be also infiltrated, or you reach the required destination. You're using drones, you can use little boats, dingy boats, and then cross the rivers and get across from the northern Kashmir, and then again infiltrate. These are all south of Pir Panjal ranges. Cross the Shamshabari, you come down to Pir Panjal ranges. These things of late have happened a little bit. This is an area where, an area where last encounters that took place, and that is where they really need to be concerned about. The concern is not that this thing, the input was there. We knew that there was an input, and therefore uh, having operated so much and commanded an RR battalion, there was no need to rush, because if the inputs have come late in the evening for such an input, and the DSP himself is accompanying the commanding officer and the company commander over there, well, one could have always waited, because you know what it is. The fact that they've been shot at night is also indicative that the Lashkar-e-Taiba militants are equipped with night vision devices. They know exactly who to pick up, because the commanding officer, the rest of the team couldn't be alone. They are all a part of a team which would have been left once they know that it is in a forested area, a thickly forested area. Not easy, and they hold up, this thing. Right now, also, of course, the entire area would have been cordoned. But despite all that, I personally would say that we have to be very vigilant. To say that things are normal, yes, normalcy, yes, definitely. 90-95% normalcy is there. But you cannot totally rule out that these kind of things, whether they are sponsored from Pakistan or they are homegrown militancy which is over there. But definitely there is a hand. We know the Lashkar-e-Taiba. We know where the handlers are. We know exactly what is happening. We know what is the situation now in Pakistan. You know what's happening between Pakistan and China. What kind of things are happening. Where India stands after the G20 summit is over. What has been happening. Why these things. The Article 370 abrogation hearing is going on in the Supreme Court. So a lot of things that are happening at the same time. And I would say that we should not let our guards down. For us, it's very necessary, whether it is South Kashmir or whether it is North Kashmir. Vigilance requires 100%. You have to be alert.
On the other hand, another aspect that we have touched upon is the south of Pir Panjal, the dynamics of terrorism and counter-terrorism in the south of Pir Panjal, the topography, the geography, the weapons and equipments that are being used. That is something that we've spoken about. Of course, it is a sad, sad day. It is the biggest attack on security forces in the last 3 years. We've lost 3 brave hearts, a colonel, a major, and a deputy superintendent of the Jammu and Kashmir police. We saw how not just the families, the entire nation is mourning. But even as we wrap this discussion up, and it has been a riveting one, I'm going to give the final say to DGP Ved on the broadcast. DGP Ved, when we're talking about the changing dynamics of South Kashmir's counter-terrorism activities, how can we better equip our security forces? When Lieutenant General Kulkarni says that we need to make that pivot, how do we make that pivot? What needs to be done on the ground? Very quickly, if you could throw some light on that as well, sir, before we wrap up.
Kabir, first reacting to the statement of Dr. Farooq Abdullah, as General Kulkarni said, see, as far as talks are concerned, two of our prime ministers risked their political career, including Mr. Bajpayee and Prime Minister Modi. Mr. Bajpayee went, what happened? you had a Kargil. Immediately after that, he virtually risked his political career. Look at when Mr. Modi went. What happened? Pathankot. So who do you talk to? Establishment. Establishments. There's no change of heart in establishment of Pakistan. Now coming to your question of Rajouri Punch. See, Rajouri Punch last about 2 years has been lot of in news, and we lost a lot of brave hearts. I think 10 casualties of Indian Army, and we had 26 terrorists getting neutralized in the Rajouri Punch. I think what is required to be changed is there is no shortage of equipment to both the Indian Army and J&K police. We are very well equipped. Yes, certain latest gadgets like surveillance, like drones, which Army has. I think some J&K police has less equipments like this. We have night visions. We have Army has area weapons. So there is no dearth of equipment and weapons. What is required is we must change our tactics as per ground realities. And when you see what is happening in Rajouri Punch, if you have a strategy of Pakistan establishment that infiltrate people inside Rajouri Punch, disturb it, let them seek hideouts in dense forest, in caves, in those places. Let them come out, attack the Indian armed convoy, and go back. So in such a situation, you need, as General Kulkarni was saying, surviving in forest is not easy. They need wherewithal. You may have brought dry fruit for few days to survive, but for months together, you need ration, local ration. You need local food items. So somebody maybe somebody जो जंगल में बकरियां चरा रहा है, गायें चरा रहा है, मे बी उसकी हेल्प ले रहा है. How they are getting their eatables. So J&K police has a very crucial role to play here. They need to develop very good rapport with the local people who graze their cattle in forests, know about the movement of terrorists, know about their hideouts, and use the local people make best use of VDCs. In fact, VDC's concept was formed in 1995. First VDC was started in district Udhampur when I was SSP Udhampur, and that is how this concept of village defense committee came, and that has been a game changer in Jammu region. So seeing that Jammu region
more community engagement. Community engagement is needed. More community engagement. That's
last 15 years, Jammu region was comparatively virtually free of terrorism. But then Pakistan last 2 years has been focusing on Jammu region, disturbing more of it, and particularly the Rajouri Punch sector, because infiltrating terrorists from border areas because of tough terrain is easier. So that is why we need to change our strategy as per the
change in tactics. I think that's the underlined segment that I'm going to highlight. It is the change in tactics vis-a-vis the ground realities that DGP Ved has put across. Of course, more community engagement is going to help out because the army needs the locals need the army. It's a two-way street and a mutual respect street.